Now, having low energy levels can really slow down your day, making you unproductive, leaving you feeling unmotivated and more often than not quite miserable. And most of us generally go for those caffeine-loaded stimulants to pick us up. So we've invited Christine Baxter, who's a nutritional advisor and health coach, to tell us more about natural energy boosters that we should be opting for. Welcome, Christine. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Christine, you've mentioned that you're seeing a lot more people presenting with low energy levels in your practice. I mean, is this attributable to modern lifestyle, bad nutrition? What are we looking at that's causing this across the board?
So what I'm finding is obviously a lot of the stresses and pressures of modern day life is leaving people very overwhelmed, lack of energy, and also no time for themselves. And unfortunately, our bodies are starting to pay the price of this. Relying on caffeine and stimulants, the problem is this isn't a sustainable way to actually boost those energy.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to look at more natural, more sustainable ways that we can actually increase our energy.
I mean, what are the risks associated with these caffeine-heavy stimulants? I mean, there are such a range of these massive cans of energy drink that are loaded with sugar, caffeine, and other things. I mean, what is the damage that those can be doing if used over a long period of time?
So basically what caffeine does, it actually taxes the adrenal glands, and our adrenals are responsible for our stress response. So when they're overstimulated on a consistent basis, they end up not working properly, all right? And this can actually lead to adrenal fatigue and constantly that feeling tired and burnt out. So with the caffeine as well, it also spikes your insulin levels, and insulin is obviously important when it comes to blood sugar balancing, and that in hand can actually affect your weight as well as weight gain.
And what are the other things that are affecting our energy levels? You talk about not having enough time for ourselves, we're constantly on the go. Are there other factors that are physically affecting us?
So physically, yes. So basically hydration is one thing. So dehydration, believe it or not, is a big cause of tiredness, all right? A lot of people don't realize that they're actually not consuming as much water as they should in a day. They should aim for at least 2 liters of water. And if most people don't like the flavor of water, then I'd say normally look for natural flavorants. Add in some mint, some cucumbers, some strawberries, and actually make it more palatable. Another one is actually sitting with a bit of a vitamin D deficiency, not being out in the sun enough. Believe it or not, even in South Africa, in a sunshine country, a lot of the population struggles with vitamin D deficiency. So it is something that's worth getting checked, and also even supplementing, because of the fact that it can really make you feel lethargic and tired if you are sitting with that deficiency.
Right.
Another one is not getting enough sleep. Prioritizing getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night is really important, because of the fact that that is when the body restores and rests, all right? And most people struggle though with sleep, and when they do, you've got to look at a couple of factors, okay? Bringing in your gut health. What is your gut doing? Because of the fact that your serotonin is produced in your gut, and serotonin is the precursor to the hormone melatonin, and melatonin helps you sleep.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Also, if you are struggling to sleep, look more at your routine, all right? Staying away from your blue light, your electronic devices, at least half an hour to an hour before you go to bed, because it stimulates brain activity. Maybe considering relaxing Epsom salt baths, journaling, reading, things like that will actually get the body into more of a restful state, and then actually help with your sleep as well.
Just that point that you make about the gut health and the serotonin that is then the precursor to melatonin, from a nutritional point of view, what are some of the key things that people are doing wrong that is affecting their gut health, and by virtue of that, then their sleep patterns? Okay.
So one of the big things when it comes to boosting your energy naturally and addressing that is making sure that you're having a nutrient-rich diet, okay? Having your proteins, your vegetables, your leafy greens, staying away from your refined carbohydrates, even your starchy carbohydrates, keeping that down to a minimum, because of the fact that they burn really quickly in the body. And in thinking that way in terms of if you don't give the body the right fuel, it's not going to work properly.
Yes.
It's the same as if you don't put petrol in your car, it's not going to work properly. And one of the keys with energy stabilization is actually eating regularly and actually pairing your meals with protein, because protein is what stabilizes those blood sugar levels, which is really important. Another one is obviously staying away from your processed sugars, your artificial sugars, that kind of thing, because as much as, yes, that chocolate bar or that cappuccino is great, gives you that 5 minutes hype, but it's going to follow a crash very soon after, which is going to make you feel even more drained. Okay, but in saying that, going for more of your natural sugars in your fruit, but on the other hand, don't fruit bomb yourself. Okay, because of the fact that it is, in the end of the day, still sugar.
Yes.
And the older you get, the body actually struggles to break down fructose. Okay, so pairing it with protein will help with this, but also going for more fruit that has a higher water content, such as your blueberries, your watermelon, that kind of thing can also help with that.
Okay.
And one of my favorites is definitely staying away from your caffeine stimulants. So obviously your coffee, your Coke, your energy drinks, they don't do anything for the body, unfortunately, all right, because they actually mess with your adrenal glands, as I mentioned. So what I would recommend instead is actually considering your invigorating herbs, all right, your adaptogenic herbs. So these medicinal plants are actually used to restore balance in the body and actually help the body restore its natural ability to actually handle stress by regulating the adrenal system. And examples of these will be, for example, your ashwagandha, your holy basil, your ginseng, and also your passion flower. These are all natural adaptogenic herbs that will really help in place of caffeine.
Okay. Are there particular people who are experiencing this lack of energy more than others, or is it definitely related mostly to your intake of nutrients, caffeine, stimulants, things like that?
Well, it's a combination of both, because of the fact that obviously with what we've been going through in terms of COVID, et cetera, you've got to look at, adrenal fatigue, burnout, that kind of thing. But most of the time, if you separate that, you also have just the general population and struggling with just getting through your normal day, okay? So yes, there's going to be mental, physical, spiritual aspects to it as well. But from a physical side, starting with one step, addressing that one step first, and then you can build on that, okay? And it's a matter of making sure that that body is getting that fuel, which is so important, because when you don't have that fuel, when you can't address it on a physical level, you will struggle with the other levels as well, okay? So it's a matter of definitely building up, starting at the basis, and then building up on the emotional, spiritual, mental side as well. Yeah.
So we've spoken about sleep, we've spoken about nutrition, we've spoken about hydration, adaptogenic supplements and herbs and things like that. Are there any other lifestyle factors that we should be considering in helping us to naturally boost our energy levels?
Well, getting moving. Exercise, that's definitely one, okay? So the problem is when you're sitting with low energy levels, it's kind of got that avalanche effect where you don't want to go and exercise, you couldn't be bothered to move, etc. But the thing is, it's quite key, because exercise, apart from the fact that it actually releases those feel-good hormones which boosts your mood, it also kind of wakes the body up from the inside, okay? And having a bit of a routine when it comes to exercise can really help to pull you through, because it does give you that extra energy.
Absolutely.
And another one which is quite interesting is actually doing a bit of a digital detox.
Yes.
So sometimes you'll find that you'll more than likely prefer to sit on the couch and watch TV or on your phone. And that in its own can actually drain your energy. But sometimes going out and seeing friends, stepping away from your online technology, because you could be using it excessively, and that can be very draining.
Absolutely.
Having more control over the people in terms of who you invite into your life and the people that you share your time with can actually make you feel like you have more control in your mind space, in your body, and even in your health.
Yeah, that's very much an energetic thing, and it's fascinating to see when you really start to sort of analyze or audit the people in your life, and you can see where you lift and where you pull down, and hard to make some calls sometimes, but definitely worth the effort if you can get it right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really great insights. Some wonderful hacks there to keep us energy filled without the stimulants and the negative side of things. So thanks for coming to join us.
Only a pleasure.